It's no secret that Huawei are having a pretty difficult time in the mobile industry, and it's great that such a prominent electronics brand is branching out into other spaces, like we've recently seen with the Huawei MateBook 13. So it's now time for sister company Honor to join them with their new Magicbook 14, which is a small form factor Windows laptop that's definitely taking design inspiration from a more widely known laptop manufacturer. I bet you can guess who it is. If you said the Apple MacBook Pro, then you'd be right. The laptop itself has a metallic finish to it and gives it a premium look and feel, especially when put against much more expensive laptops on the market. The Honor Magicbook 14 retains a sense of style, especially as it's not quite pure silver in colour. It does have a purpley blue tint to it, which is especially noticeable in the border that surrounds the actual screen, and that depends on the light hitting it, which gives it a fresh feel compared to other basic design laptops around this price point. There's also a blue shiny Honor logo on top, which is slightly off-centered, causing my OCD to become a little triggered. Now, I'm not sure why Honor decided to go with this design when it could have easily have been centered, but they have kept the laptop nice and minimalist nonetheless. So its weight comes in at 1.38 kilograms, while its size sits around 214 by 322 by 15.9 millimeters. It's a far cry from the likes of a MacBook Air and even some Chromebooks now, but still it's nice and portable and will easily fit inside of a laptop bag and won't be too much of a burden to carry for long periods of time. So down the left hand side of the laptop you can find a USB Type-C input, which is used for power, a USB Type-A input and an HDMI output to plug it into an external screen. On the right is a USB Type-A input and a headphone input. One disappointment with the laptop is the fact that there is no SD card reader for those wanting to store or even edit their photos. You'll have to resort to using an external card reader or even a Type-C dongle, but do bear in mind that you will not be able to charge the laptop if you are using a dongle, as that port relies on power as well. Flipping open the Honor Magicbook 14 and you can instantly see where Honor have decided to get their design inspiration from. Oh, and by the way, it feels nice and solid and required a couple of hands to open up and doesn't wobble around too much when nudged. Now the design though is literally uncanny to a MacBook, all bar the Honor logo underneath the screen and a lack of a touch bar display. Now the power button does double up as a fingerprint reader though for extra security, which is a nice touch, and that's a pretty decent bonus. The typing experience on the laptop though is pretty decent. Key presses are nice and quiet, and it never missed a beat while writing this review. Now one odd feature about this keyboard though is its webcam placement. It's sitting in place of the F5 key and springs up when pressed. It's a nice security feature as you can hide the webcam from sight when not in use, but it produces a very up the nose angle which might put some people off. Quality wise, it's passable for your Zoom calls to the office, although my voice did sound a little bit tinny. So this is the Honor Magicbook 14's webcam. As you can see, the angle is actually really bad. Look at this. Up my nose, see my chin. Don't like this at all. I'm looking directly at the webcam now, of course looking down, but when I'm looking at my screen, this is what you're going to get. And this is what it sounds like as well. So here's an example of the Honor Magicbook 14's webcam. Also, what does bother me slightly is the dimness of the screen. Its max brightness leaves much to be desired, and if you're going to be using this laptop in the garden, you know, as we're all working from home now, you're probably going to be finding yourself very much squinting at the screen in no time at all on a bright summer's day. It's also the vividness that's affected as well. Now, though the screen itself renders at 1080p, which is completely passable for a screen of this size, and the fact it's really a work-based machine as well, text can be read clearly as long as you're not in bright sunlight. Now, with a lack of webcam above the screen, it does mean that Honor has been able to house the screen between extremely skinny bezels, which just heightens the premium look of the Honor Magicbook 14. So Honor have decided to go with AMD to power their new Magicbook 14, and inside you can find a pretty nifty Ryzen 5 4500U backed up by 8GB of RAM memory. Where this laptop does fall down though is with its storage capacity, and although it is an SSD, which means you've got quick startup times and fairly quick loading speeds between apps, its capacity is sitting at 512GB, so keeping your large 4K files for your video editing projects is going to be a little frustrating. Not that you'll be editing 4K videos on this thing anyway. The processor is also not the fastest, so don't expect to put this laptop through its paces, and running on integrated graphics too, so again, any gaming is pretty much off limits. Now, I ran a couple of benchmarks on here, and for work purposes, it can hold its own. Now, PC Mark X gave us a score of 4,486, with especially decent scores within the productivity section for things like word and spreadsheet processing. It fell down slightly for video production, but it could still render out a video in 1080p in Premiere Pro or make it through a session in Photoshop. Now, 3D Mark X, however, threw back an overall score of 909, which is quite frankly one of the lowest I've seen myself, and is a clear indicator that this is just not a gaming laptop, although you could probably at a push get away with some light MOBA titles. It did score well in the CPU department though, but unfortunately not when it came to graphical performance. Again, for entertainment and multimedia usage, the laptop screen is adequate enough, but we found from a lack of brightness that films or series on Netflix or Amazon Prime are again a little dim and loses a lot of that kind of punch vividness that you would come to expect. And again, darker scenes just lose so much detail and quality. What is impressive though are the Dolby Atmos compatible speakers. There are 4 in total, and they actually sound pretty decent. Even though the Honor Magicbook 14 isn't the fastest laptop on the market, for the price to performance, as long as you don't mind sacrificing gaming, is very good. Now, it is a shame about the screen, as chances are a laptop like this would typically be used for work in the day and entertainment in the evening. It does do those things well, but unfortunately the screen does let it down when it comes to quality. And if you're going to be pulling it out at business meetings, people are going to think it costs a lot more than it actually does, purely for the decent styling. So thank you very much for checking out my video review of the Honor Magicbook 14 laptop. If you enjoyed this video, then hit that like button. Please subscribe to keep up with our latest tech and gaming videos. Also, let us know in the comments down below what you think about the Honor Magicbook 14, whether you would go for something like this for your work and entertainment after everything I've said today. Or if you've spent around a similar price, let us know what laptop you would go for. Also, you can find us over on Twitch streaming on a Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday from 8:30 PM British time onwards. So if you wanted to come over to Twitch to say hello or ask a tech question or talk about tech and gaming in general, we can be found over there. There is a link just below this little box, so just go here, this link, twitch.tv/TechNuovo, you can find us there. As I say, thanks very much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.